Principal told black boy to play piano as a joke. What happened next shocked the whole school. The boy in the back row. The gym buzzed with the low hum of murmured conversations, sneakers squeaking on the hardwood, and the occasional clang of metal folding chairs being arranged in uneven rows. It was the annual talent show at Maplewood Middle School, a small public school tucked in a quiet suburb, where performances usually ranged from awkward stand-up routines to off-key renditions of pop songs. No one expected to be amazed, especially not today. Seated near the back of the crowd was Jamal Carter, a skinny, soft-spoken black boy with deep brown eyes and calloused fingers hidden in the pockets of a second-hand hoodie. He was in 8th grade but kept to himself most days, never joining the cafeteria cliques or raising his hand in class. Teachers knew him as polite and quiet. Students mostly forgot he was there. Principal Raymond Fletcher, a tall, aging man with a booming voice and a habit of cracking sarcastic jokes, took the stage as the host. He glanced over the last-minute sign-up sheet and raised an eyebrow. "Well, look who we have next," he said, loud enough for everyone to hear. "Jamal Carter. Says here you're doing piano." A ripple of laughter moved through the gym. There was no piano on stage. There never had been for these shows. Most kids brought pre-recorded tracks or danced. No one expected a piano performance, least of all from Jamal, who never said 10 words in a day. Principal Fletcher chuckled. "You sure about that, son? Or are you just trying to skip algebra?" The crowd laughed again, louder this time. Jamal stood slowly, his face unreadable. He walked toward the stage with a calmness that silenced a few snickers. He looked around, then said quietly, "If you move the curtain back, there's an old upright in the storage wing." The principal blinked, caught off guard. Is that so?" One of the janitors, Mr. Weller, nodded from the corner. "Been there since '96. Nobody's touched it in years." "Well, shoot," Principal Fletcher muttered, trying to save face. "Somebody will it out. Let's give the young man a shot. Hope it's tuned." More chuckles. A few teachers looked uncomfortable. 15 minutes later, the dusty piano stood center stage, creaking on its rusted wheels. It looked out of place, like a relic from a forgotten time. Jamal sat down, closed his eyes, and rested his fingers on the yellowed keys. The gym was quiet now, part curiosity, part anticipation. Then he began to play. What came out of that piano wasn't music. It was magic. His fingers danced with breathtaking fluidity, coaxing out melodies that soared, dipped, and whispered stories no words could hold. His piece blended classical complexity with soulful blues undertones, telling a tale of pain, hope, and resilience. The audience was silent, spellbound. Every note seemed to peel back layers of judgment, every chord stripping away assumptions. Even the principal stared, jaw slack, as Jamal played like someone twice his age, like he'd lived 100 lifetimes. When he finished, the gym stayed silent for a beat too long, then erupted. Thunderous applause. Cheers. Some teachers stood. Even the janitor wiped a tear from his cheek. Jamal stood up, bowed slightly, and returned to his seat without a word. His classmates stared in stunned silence, some mouthing, "I didn't know he could do that." The principal stepped back to the mic, visibly shaken. "Well," he began, voice catching. That was something else." But the real story didn't unfold until later that week. 2 days after the talent show, Jamal's performance had gone viral. A student had recorded the whole thing and posted it online. Within 48 hours, the video had racked up over 1 million views. Comments poured in, "This kid is a genius. How has no one discovered him yet? Pure soul through music." Local news stations wanted interviews. Music schools started calling. And then, an email arrived that changed everything. It was from the prestigious Westbridge Conservatory of Music in New York City, one of the most elite music institutions in the world. The email was addressed to Principal Fletcher. 3 days later, Jamal was called to the office. Nervously, he stepped in, expecting a lecture or paperwork. But instead, the principal stood, eyes softer than usual, holding a printed letter. "I owe you an apology," he said first. Jamal blinked. "Sir. I treated your performance like a joke. That was wrong. I judged you before I knew anything about you. But, this came in." He handed the letter to Jamal. It was a full scholarship offer. Tuition, housing, and travel, all covered. A spot in Westbridge's early youth program, designed for prodigies under 18. I don't know what to say," Jamal whispered, clutching the letter like it might vanish. "You deserve it," Fletcher said. And more. Later that evening, Jamal sat with his grandmother, Mama Rosa, in their tiny apartment. The piano he practiced on was a battered keyboard missing 3 keys. She had worked nights cleaning offices to afford even that. When he showed her the letter, she didn't cry. She just pulled him into a hug and whispered, "Your mama's smiling from heaven, baby." Jamal closed his eyes. He could almost hear his late mother's voice, the one who first taught him to press keys like they were secret doors to another world. By the following week, the school community had transformed. Students approached Jamal at lunch. Teachers asked about his favorite composers. Someone even started a fundraiser to get a proper piano for the school, citing his story as the spark. But what truly shocked everyone wasn't the scholarship, the viral fame, or the newfound attention. It was what Jamal did next. At the next school assembly, with news cameras hovering at the back and the mayor sitting in the front row, Jamal was invited to perform again. He walked to the mic instead. "I want to thank everyone," he said, voice steady. "But I also want to use this moment to say something." The gym fell quiet. "When I walked up to that piano last week, I didn't do it to prove anything. I did it because music is how I survive. It's how I speak when I don't know how to explain the pain of losing a parent, or the pressure of being the only black kid in a room who's always underestimated." Murmurs. A few heads dropped. "I don't want to be the exception," Jamal continued. "I want to be the start. There are kids like me in every school, quiet, overlooked, gifted in ways that don't show up on a test. All we need is someone to believe in us." He paused. "So if you're sitting in this room and you feel invisible, you're not. I see you. I was you. And this stage, it can be yours too." He sat down, placed his fingers on the keys, and played. This time, the music was softer, like a lullaby for every broken dream and a promise of something brighter. A slow build. A triumphant finish. The sound of a boy becoming everything they said he couldn't be. The next morning, Principal Fletcher sent a letter to all faculty and parents. It read, in part, "We made a mistake. We laughed at brilliance. We dismissed potential because it didn't come wrapped in the package we expected. But Jamal Carter showed us the power of humility, grace, and quiet genius. From now on, let Maplewood be a place where every voice is heard, every talent nurtured, and every child seen." He signed it with a final line that echoed in every hallway for weeks. "Never again will we ask a child to prove their worth as a punchline." Jamal left for Westbridge Conservatory that fall. But every year, on the anniversary of that talent show, the school hosted Jamal Day, a celebration of hidden talents, unspoken stories, and second chances. Students performed music, read poetry, danced, painted. The dusty old piano, now restored and gleaming, stood as a centerpiece on stage, with a plaque engraved beneath it. "In honor of the boy in the back row who taught us to listen."